classic cars, and he really liked to attend those exotic car shows. Have you ever been to anything like that, just for fun or just curiosity?
I've been to a regular car show, but I haven't been to an exotic one.
Okay, you know what? Well, you know what? So here in New Mexico, and just for those that maybe know of this area, the culture here are exotic cars. The culture here is exotic cars. So there's so many, especially the older, what they call lowrider cars. And so they're the older cars, they were classic cars that they just kind of pimp them out. I think that in the smaller towns in New Mexico, particularly, there really wasn't anything to do, seriously, except to ride your car that your pimped out exotic at this point exotic car, like ride it along the strip of whatever small town you lived in. I grew up that way actually in a small town called Espanola or Hernandez, and so it was a really big deal. And once I was asked to be on the cover of an exotic car magazine called Lowrider Magazine, which a lot of people still get at the grocery store today when they're checking out. So
Yeah.
yeah, kind of one of those bikini models. Yeah. So anyway, so what he did was he had money, remember? So he would buy these expensive classic cars, attend these exotic car shows. He particularly liked fast cars, and he owned 5 Corvettes. And in the end, as the story goes, of course, he's going to have a wife at some point because that's actually what the murder is about, is his wife. So that we can say. But his wife did love his Corvettes as well, very much. Now let's talk about how did he meet his love. His wife was actually, her name was Angela, but he met her at work. She was actually one of his substance abuse clients. Angela was very pretty. She was known to be very attractive. She had a really good spirit, just a sweet person on the inside. You can tell there's her smile, just her disposition, just her attitude, and all of that. But unfortunately, though, this woman was very troubled. She had a severe issue with alcoholism. I mean, otherwise, why would she be there, right? As a client. So, for whatever reason, so Kai, I've actually heard this before. I don't know how true this is. I've asked a few men out there that I know personally and some that I don't know personally. And there was a statistic that was going around with this, kind of like a survey. Have you ever heard that men will actually say that within 20 or 30 seconds of meeting a new woman, that's a potential date, that they know right away if it's someone that they're going to marry or not, or spend their life with. Yeah.
I've heard that. I don't know if I believe it, but I've heard it.
I've definitely heard it too. So Mike knew immediately that he had to be with her. He knew immediately that he would fall in love and that she would be his wife. And wouldn't you know it? I mean, he sincerely believed that he struck gold, Kai, like gold, love gold. That's my own phrase, by the way. I think I just coined that. He struck gold. There's gold
Love gold.
hills. There's gold up in those hills. He struck love gold. So now here's the thing. There's a rule at his the service that he worked for, the agency that he worked for as a counselor. They had a very strict rule about fraternizing with clients. So guess what? You can kind of see which direction this is going, right? So they had a very strict rule that stated no dating any of the assigned cases. It doesn't matter who it is. And so his relationship with Angela, pretty Angela, soon got the attention of his manager, his head manager, actually. So, it's kind of like he said that he knew what the rule was. He said that at this point, he had started to really catch feelings, as they say. And before he knew it, he really was in love with her. And he just said, hey, let the chips fall where they may. I mean, this is just what it is. I mean, it's kind of like when we say that you can't pick who your family is, right? We know that. But sometimes you also can't really, how does that saying go about you can't help who you love? I think that's the one that I've heard.
Which I think that's bullshit. But okay.
Well, do you think that that's true? I mean, can't you just literally start falling in love with someone and you didn't realize that those feelings would go that direction? And then once they do, it is what it is. You don't feel like that in any way? Like,
No,
ever feel that way about relationships?
no.
No? So you
You have to remember, I'm an asshole. So, no.
you're like, look, I have way too much control over the matter, and not to mention, you have like a deal breaker list as long as New. Imagine a road. If I took a road from New Mexico and traveled up all the way out to Alaska, that's how long Kai's list of deal breakers are in a relationship.
That's not true.
Everything is a deal breaker. Remember the Irish accent?
But that wasn't a deal breaker. That was
No,
just
give
like
it
the
to me. I
cherry
love
on
the Irish
top. Like,
accent.
oh my god, no, no, that's not true. You didn't have to. If you had one, then yeah,
You got points.
yes. And if you had one, then a lot of the stuff on my list is already off because the Irish accent, like, just canceled
Doesn't
out
even
everything
you.
else. Like, you don't have to be over 6 foot if you have an Irish accent. Like, there's a lot of stuff. If you have an Irish accent, you don't have to worry about a lot of stuff. Just bring that accent and talk to me, baby. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, that was super weird. Okay, well, the luck of the Irish. Did anyone hear you? All the Irishmen are going, hmm. All right, so
Like, yeah. Well, I wonder what Kai looks
I
like.
know.
No,
You're
I
like,
talked to this dude. We were at Redbox, and I think I was putting in the coupon code, and he just asked me, "Do those ever work for you?" And we had a whole conversation, and I just really had to, like, I can't look at this dude. He wasn't even hot. He was just a regular dude, but his accent, like, and I had a whole
wow.
conversation with him about freaking Redbox coupon codes because I did not want him to stop talking. And it was like, oh my god, just keep
That's
talking, sir. I don't know who
hilarious.
you are. Are you married? Are you looking for a wife? Oh my god. And he was short. He
Oh
just was
no.
like regular brown hair, brown. I mean, he wasn't shorter than me, but he wasn't my normal 6 foot. And then
Yeah.
he was just regular brown hair, brown eyes, and he was just a regular looking guy. But that Irish accent, it sends you up the charts. So yeah, sorry.
Well,
Okay,
I
stay on target. Stay on target.
know, I know. You're like, okay, don't do this. Don't do this. Just stay focused. Stay focused. Well, you know, it kind of reminds me of like, okay, so Kai and I have known each other for a while now. It's been about almost 6 years. So since we first started No Contact. And throughout the show, some of us would talk about our relationships and what we like and don't like, or our marriages or whatever, and things like that. And so everyone knows that my relationships have grown with the show, if that makes sense. I've actually been through Kai 3 relationships. As a matter of fact, it was 3 from the beginning of our previous show.
I can't keep track anymore.
Actually,
I'm
no,
sorry.
4. Oh my god, I think it was 4. Oh my gosh, I think it was 4. It was 4. But yeah, so currently, so my current, I'll just call it a friendship. I'll say that, but it's really a relationship. But so he's French. So when we first started to really talk on the phone and really get to know each other, one of his first few phrases in French was bologna sandwiches and marshmallows, and I didn't know.
What?
Well, just he was just it was just a joke. It was a joke. He was just playing a game with me, you know. And but because it sounded so beautiful, I just told myself I don't even care at this point. Like I had only saw this person one time in life a year and a half ago at a film festival in a whole nother state, Charlotte, North Carolina. And so I couldn't quite exactly remember, everything about him physically. And I told myself it doesn't matter if he's tall, it doesn't matter if he's short, it doesn't even matter if he's ugly. Well, he wasn't ugly because it got my attention, but I was like, just keep saying that. That is just so amazing. Like the way that a person's accent can get to your heartstrings. And then I said, hey, translate that. What did you say? And I'm like, you did not say bologna sandwiches and marshmallows. He goes, I was just joking with you. Everything that you say in French is going to sound delicious and wonderful and very romantic. So it wouldn't make any difference. So
That's when we need the sound effect for crickets because I don't agree. Anything that you say in French makes me want to run the other way. And it's so weird because my language is basically French, but I don't like French, and I don't like French accents, and just
That
that's
is
the
so funny
absolute
because it is
complete opposite
literally
of the Irish accent for me.
it's
I
the
don't, I
romance
don't.
language. It literally
No,
I don't
I don't understand why people think that, because it's like somebody starts talking to me and I'm just like, please, can you just stop? Just write it, or let's learn sign language together.
it would
Just
have never
don't
got your
talk to me.
attention, huh? Not like the Irish.
No, not even. It would have been like I would have been trying really not. You know how nails on a chalkboard sounds? It would have been like,
Oh
oh my god,
no. Oh my
I'm
gosh.
trying to hold
Yeah,
it
it's just
together
like,
right now.
no, don't do that.
No.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, to get back to our case here, so now if we all remember what's happening, there's a heated situation here. There's this situation that's boiling really because Mike Dixiano has got himself into a world of trouble at his job. In fact, not only did he get the attention of his manager, they had a very heated shouting match, like literally a shouting match, and he was fired. So shortly after, now remember, it wasn't like he was dying for, a way to pay his bills, and he wasn't starving. I mean, none of those issues concerned him because he didn't have those issues. So shortly after he was fired, the two of them fell in love, and believe it or not, they were married very quickly. Remember how he knew? He knew she's going to be my wife. Why waste any time? So, bam, wedding bells. They had a beautiful wedding. Now, Angela, let's talk more about Angela. Angela had her hopes. She actually had her hopes on living a lavish life with him, with her new boo, or with her new boo's money, I should say, with his money. However, Mike had a very stingy spendthrift. He was known to be like a stingy type, a spendthrift type that did not want to spend a lot of money, didn't want to give money, and he's got plenty of it. So he had no plans for a gold digger for Angela, So Angela assumed that she would be spoiled because she was now going from just a poor, very average person as far as life goes. And who knows, maybe not being able to provide for yourself could be another reason why a person can turn to alcohol. I'm sure you've heard of that, Kai. Just woe is me.
I mean, there's any reason anybody could turn to alcohol, but I guess.
Well, that's true. There's a million reasons out there. Now, to get to some of the juicy stuff, right? Angela, because her husband was so frugal and controlling over their money, or I should say, over his money, right? I don't know. See, I feel like when you're married, isn't it our money? How do you?
Ah,
Is it yours? Is
I
it
did that with my first husband, and he took that very literally. Our money that he spent every last damn red cent of it. So no, no more. It's my
yours?
money and your money.
So now it's like, okay, so you distinguish that. Well, in this particular case, Kai, her husband was very control. Mike was very not only frugal, but he was controlling over their money. Like, well, what are you spending, and how much, and what for, and what was that? Did you get permission? It's kind of like that. And so, can you believe that you're never going to believe this? Oh my God, I can't even believe this happened. Like, this woman had a double life. She was so frustrated that her husband would not give up the gold, so to speak, that she was arrested for prostitution. She was prostituting herself on the side of their relationship, on the side of their marriage, and she according to the authorities,
That's
they,
that's 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 wow, shocking. Can you
yeah.
imagine if you found out that your husband is prostituting on the side? Oh my god.
Well, what would your first question be? Because my first question would be kind of like, okay, but why? Because she has a why. So what do you think?
I don't think that's my first question. My first question would be I don't think unless I could make a statement into a question, I don't think I'd have a question.
It's more like a closed-ended question.
Get
No, an
I don't
open-ended.
know.
I don't know.
Get the f out of my house. Who do you
Wow.
think you are? Do you think you're taking this stuff in this house? Do you not know you have 5 more seconds before I stab you in the neck? I mean, I guess those questions.
Those questions. all the expected questions. Just cover all your bases. But how about this? Let's just turn it up a notch. Would you get him out of jail? Out of jail for